Broadcasting from the Studio Clubhouse, Radio Free Radio, WRFR, Hampton, Virginia.
Welcome to Deprogrammed. My name is Justin Wilson, your not-so-humble host. And today we're going to be talking about the Foo Fighters really quickly. This is the part of the show where I tell you, give us money. Go to patreon.com/Radio Free Radio. RadioFradio.com is the station itself. Radio Free Radio. And, give us a buck. A buck gets you literally everything that comes out on this station. Every single show gets podcasted there, and you can listen to it at your leisure. And it's pretty cool. You can go and stream it from there. You can download the episodes, whatever you want to do with it. That's up to you. But the most important thing I want you to take away from this is you giving $1. Yes, it gets you the 16 hours of content weekly. That's awesome. But what you're really doing is helping an independent radio station thrive and survive. We can't do it without you, and we want to get bigger, badder, better. We want to do bigger, badder, better things. We've got so many ideas and plans and thoughts and so much on the pike that we want you to be involved with it. So, just head on over to patreon.com/Radio Free Radio, and if you've got $1 a month, please share with us. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Foo Fighters today. And I'll tell you, this was... I've had some pretty tough ones, doing this program. Smashing Pumpkins was pretty hard, although I came up with a massive list really fast. Weird Al last week was pretty difficult. Radiohead was super difficult. But I started compiling this Foo Fighters list together, and I'm looking at these songs, and I'm like, man, I don't know which ones I'm going to start cutting, because I got to get it down to at least 20. I have to get it manageable. And I got it down to 50 relatively fast. And that's from there. I had to listen to the list 3 or 4 times before I could get it down to 30. And then eventually I finally made myself make cuts. I'm like, okay, fine. This one's gone. I'm taking these 20 in, and I don't care. We'll see where it goes. But today my guests are Bran.
Hello.
I know you from Pilot. Yep, with an exclamation point. Normally I would shout that, but yeah. But the band has since broken up. But I haven't seen much of you since, man.
I don't even live in the same state.
Oh no,
I live in Carolina. So
no way.
Yep.
Is that real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I live about 20 minutes south of Elizabeth City. So yeah.
So this was a bit of a hike for you.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, to come talk Foo Fighters.
It's worth it.
I didn't even realize it because I made that post because it was going to be just me and Jenny for a while, and I was like, well, let's see if we can get another Foo fan, and you hopped into the conversation, and you were like, yeah, man, I want to come talk Foos. I didn't realize you lived in Carolina.
Anything for the girl of Dave.
That's amazing. I mentioned Jenny. Miss Jenny Zell is joining us as well.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Talk to me about putting your list together. How hard was it?
This was way more difficult than I expected.
It seems like it should be easy.
Yeah, I thought I could at least come up with my top 10 really quickly.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. I was stuck at 40 songs for about a week.
Yeah.
It was going nowhere.
I kept looking at my Spotify playlist, and I'm like, I'm still at 50 songs. Oh no, I'm still at 40 songs. I need to cut this thing down.
Yeah.
Finally, I just sat down one day last week, and I just started hacking songs.
I did it this afternoon. I just took a hatchet to my list.
Well, and the thing is, even on the ride over, I realized I was listening to Self-Titled, and a song came up that I hacked. I'm like, oh man, that should have been on there.
Which one was it?
Floaty.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I almost picked that one.
I wanted Floaty so bad, but there's some others, and we'll get to it. So, a couple others that made it, but it hurt. Especially those first 2 records. Now I admittedly subscribed to the Foo Fighters have been writing the same record since One by One. I subscribed to that.
Yep.
They've been writing the same record since One by One, and it still holds somewhat truth after going through this and literally sitting down and listening. I can understand that argument, but when I got to Wasting Light, holy shit! Why didn't anybody tell me that was that good of a record?
That is a really good album. It's very surprising because most people just kind of dismiss it as like, oh, it's, they stopped after like
it was a
3
gimmick for a
albums.
movie or something like that, and because they did the documentary. But it's actually a really, really bitchin' album. Like probably one of my favorite Foo Fighters songs is on that album.
Yeah, well, one of my top 10 actually. Having listened to Wasting Light, like made such an impression on me that it made my top 10. Like just hearing it the once, and then I listened to it like I don't know 2 or 3 more times, just combing over and making sure. But man, Wasting Light was good, and I don't, the following records, even Saint Cecilia, I listened to the EP. I had a couple that ended up being late cuts, just because again, like it surprised me that. Yeah, I subscribed. The radio hits still do sound very Foo Fighter-y, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very Foo Fighter songs. But the rest of the records, not so much.
Right. And, the other thing, too, is that they're good at writing those radio hits that they do.
Yeah.
Like, they're not bad songs. I mean, they're a little bit repetitive, but
A
they
Foo
found
Fighters
their way.
radio hit is still a far cry different than any other pop, rock, alternative radio
Absolutely.
hit. You wouldn't have probably, in my opinion, in the last 20 years, a good portion of the radio hits that we have now if Foo Fighters hadn't influenced at least half of those bands.
Yeah. One of the things we were talking about just before we went on air is the radio hits from at least the first 2 albums. I could make a case for the first 3 still hold up. Not only are they great songs still, but they are still great songs on the album. Like they still play in the album just fine. I don't skip them. And I would think, especially with self-titled, as old as these songs are, nah, man, like those still hit me just as hard. I still rock out just as hard to those first 3 tracks. And just finally taking that fine-tooth comb to the Foo Fighters that I've been wanting to for years was just nice.
Yeah.
A couple notes I made before we really hop into this list. I feel like One by One is that album. He called it Chud.
They even regretted making it. That band, or that it almost broke up the band.
Yeah. I believe Dave actually called it Chud, like relatively soon after the album was released, or as they were starting to work on the next one. But this is where those Foo Fighters radio songs, like this is where that rumor starts of they were writing the same record, because you have All My Life and Times Like These. Two, in my personal opinion, 2 of the worst Foo Fighter songs probably ever. I hate those songs.
Pilot used to cover All My Life.
Oh.
No hard feelings.
Well, Times Like These is like the worst. All My Life is... The first time I heard All My Life, I'm like, oh my God.
I gotta make sure those aren't on my list.
I feel like I feel like that's the biggest thing too that's happening with these is a lot of times because the Pretender. When I first heard the Pretender, I was like, oh my God, but it has no legs. Like I went back to listen to it for this, and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I've got nothing on this.
I don't think anything on my list is from One by One or even the album after that, In Your Honor. I they're good albums if you're really in the mood for it, but the thing is, like, you have to be in the mood for it. They didn't really qualify any hits on, besides the obvious radio hits.
Now, I also wanted to talk about this because I had, I'm tipping my list a little bit here, but I had to cut both of these songs from my list, but I wanted to talk about them. So it's my show. I figured out a way to talk about
Let's see if it's on our list.
I've got Doll into Monkey Wrench off the Color and the Shape. Good God. Like, the songs are completely different, but the way they because you expect a Foo Fighters record, I mean, it's their second, but you expect them to come in just really punchy, and to come in like all sedated with Doll, and then really knock it in with Monkey Wrench. I thought it just set this awesome like tone to that record, and I mean, arguably still my favorite Foos record, Color and the Shape. I just love the way it kicks in like that. So, that being said, how about we start tossing some songs off each other and see where we go see what we can come up with as far as 10 songs.
Now, your guys' just for clarification, your guys' list, is it like in order, 1
No.
to 10?
Sort of.
Mine's
Mine's
not.
just it's the 10 deep cuts, the songs that influenced me.
I've realized that with me, when I'm doing these lists, 1 and 2 are usually legit. Like, it's my favorite song, my second favorite
Yeah.
song. And then after that, they could literally change.
Mine's chronological.
Oh, good for you.
That's just how I listened to it and debated the list, basically. Yeah.
Okay. So, I think I'm going to... I did this last week, and I always save number 1 in hopes that somebody else has it, and then nobody ever does.
Uh-huh.
I think Radiohead's the only time I ever landed on my number 1, and it was Myxomatosis, and the whole room had Myxomatosis. So I'm gonna toss my number 1 out here. I'm gonna try
Let's hear it.
from self-titled Weenie Beanie.
No,
Close.
Sorry.
I had Good Grief and Ecstatic,
It
which are the
hurts.
2 bookends to that song.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Like, Good Grief was such a late cut for me.
Uh-huh.
Because I ultimately have another song on from self-titled that's somewhat similar that I was like, these are similar enough that I should only take one in, and I ended up axing Good Grief is so good though.
Yeah.
Man, now you're making me regret.
It has probably I can curse on here, right?
Yeah.
The most bitchin' guitar riff
Doesn't it though?
throughout that song. Yeah.
Because you have the simple 4-chord thing going on underneath, but like what he's playing up and over that is
Yeah.
so, oh my god, bitchin's the perfect word.
Yeah.
And it's I love the lyrics too, even though one of my problems with the first record is not understanding what he's saying, especially Weenie Beanie.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
mean,
what I
that's
love
how
about
it's
Weenie
mixed.
Beanie.
Yeah.
I don't understand what he's saying in Weenie Beanie at all, but it's just it fucking rips.
Well, Weenie Beanie, the vocals on that are distorted. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
like there's a couple other songs. There's Low on 1 by 1, which actually is a pretty decent song, and then there's
actually on my list.
That's on my list too.
really.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the video for that?
God, I love it.
With
That's
Jack
part
Black?
of that's part of my argument
It's
for.
Fucking creepy.
It's yeah.
And then there's like White Limo off of. Is that on your list too?
Yes. It's like Brand knows everything about me.
That was
Looking
like
deep into my soul.
White Limo was one of my last cuts.
White Limo's on mine, but I've always said, like, ever since I first heard that song, if I'm ever in a car chase with the cops, that is playing in the background.
Right?
Like, that is perfect tempo, perfect distortion, perfect just angst.
Yeah. So let's see. You already tossed Good Grief out.
Oh, yeah.
So I unfortunately cut it. Jenny, did Good Grief make yours?
No, it did not.
Start trying to collect some of these.
I don't think your list and my list really have anything
I
repetitive.
don't think they do at all. No. Now, do I get to count my honourable mentions?
Yes.
Okay.
Aw.
So here's the rules. Here's
make that
how we're
list.
gonna do it. Is we're gonna go around. If it's on at least two of the lists, then it comes back for conversation later. As we're cutting and trying to get it down to the 10. If it makes all three of ours, it's automatically in. Which just judging by the conversation already,
I don't think it's gonna
I
happen.
don't think it's gonna happen.
There are, 120 songs really to choose from? So
Yeah.
between 3 people, I mean,
It's hard.
yeah. And
it's a lot of
and
fun.
Jenny and I both went for the not obvious radio
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah.
So just depending on your list.
I have like a handful of radio tunes, but I have one super obvious one, and that's it. But okay, so let's see. You tossed out Good Grief. Jenny, why don't you toss the song out?
Oh, I don't know if I can go with my number one. It's gonna break my heart if it doesn't make the list. I'm gonna throw out an obvious one and say
Okay.
Monkey Wrench.
See again, like I'm combing through the color and the shape.
Yeah.
And like I'm looking at my list, I had like 7 or 8, and I'm like, okay, I can't do that. I can't take 7 or 8 songs from this record in. So I ended up cutting it.
And see, now I feel bad because I know we discussed before the show that I had a whole bunch of deep cuts on here, but now that I'm looking at it, like probably 50-50. Like there's a few radio hits and I'm like, man, I should have, that could have been used for something better.
I think I only have one obvious song on here that is a radio hit. Besides that, it's pretty deep cuts.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to go for the hipster mentality of, well, you haven't heard it, or God, you should know it. But it was just more so those songs are probably going to make it on somebody else's list. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of us are just kind of tired of the radio hits too. Like, you just don't want to hear Pretender anymore. Like,
I mean, Pretender, yes. Good example. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, hell, in 20 years, I've never once gotten sick of Everlong. I mean, things like that.
Well, since you brought it up, that one actually, that's my obvious.
It's not on mine.
Oh,
I made that.
Really?
It's on my honorable mention list.
Okay, so I'm going to put a mark by it.
It's probably, it's a toss-up between that and My Hero for my favorite Foo Fighters
That's
song
what I
ever.
had. Oh.
And the thing is, I knew it was going to be on somebody else's list, and I was like, I could take that out and make a slot for another really good song that no one really knows. That maybe, if you're combing through the discography, you can be like, all right, well, they recommend this on this album, maybe it'll help.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
Very good point. Okay, so I tossed out Everlong, and Jenny has an honorable mention, so it's coming back in a conversation later. Brand, why don't you toss out another one?
All right, so Jenny and I were talking about this outside before we walked in, but mine is February Stars, off of Color and the Shape.
God,
it didn't make hers.
Oh,
I think
no.
it was. You said that was a late cut, right?
It was a very, very late cut.
That song. That album, you can tell. I'm a really big Pixies fan, and so are they. But you could tell that album is really, really well influenced by the Pixies. The whole quiet, loud.
Yeah.
Still have some pop organic in it, but the dynamic part of it, and that song is really quiet, really beautiful, and all of a sudden it's just really hard hitting and loud, and will blow your speakers if you're not careful.
I had it down to Everlong and February Stars. I went
Really?
Everlong. Yeah. It's tough because I find myself just randomly singing February Stars, even if I haven't heard the record in years, which never happens. I listen to Color and Shape every couple months, really. Let's be honest. But you ask for walls, I'll build them higher. God, what is it? You ask for walls, I'll build them higher. I'd have to sing it to be able to nail the next line. But that line always spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's a great song, and now I'm bummed out that I cut it.
That's fine.
But that's what keeps happening with this show is those late cuts that you're commiserating.
Can't get too attached, man. Can't get too attached.
Yeah, but then somebody else is like, yeah, this song. And it's like, oh.
But I can't wait to go back and listen to some of these songs that I cut that you guys are recommending and listen to it from a new angle.
Yeah.
As I was trying to put together my list, I was actually looking at other people's lists of the top 10 Foo Fighter songs, and they were all just the radio hits. And I was like,
of course.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Anybody could have done this list.
Well, and you don't want to, compartmentalize it, but I mean the radio hits are really good. That's why they're on the radio. They were so well written. But the thing is, there are other songs on the albums that people just don't really know about if they're not really into the Foos.
Yeah. Jenny, why don't you toss out another one?
Okay, I'm gonna go for a real deep cut on this one.
Uh-oh.
The In Your Honor acoustic disc, Virginia Moon.
Yes.
I was going. Well, not Virginia Moon. I was gonna. What was the song before that? I'm trying to think. I was listening to that today in the truck.
Over and Out.
No, it's. I'll get back to it
Because I had it down to Over and Out and Virginia Moon, and I was like,
time to open up my Spotify.
Virginia. For me, I went Virginia Moon because it's different. Over and Out is good, but it's pretty much a straightforward acoustic song.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Moon is this really laid back.
It's really nice.
Lounge song.
Yeah.
Another round. That was what it was called.
Another round.
Yeah. That one's actually on my honorable mention list, so that's cool. But that acoustic disc that actually had a lot of really great songs on it. I couldn't sit and listen to it all the way through necessarily, but individually, there's a lot of really good tunes on there. And I had read that was supposed to be the next album.
I wish they would have done that, to be frank.
I kind of do, but I think that they realized that there would have been some backlash from the fans who were expecting a rock album. But then again, that came right after One by One. I don't know if anybody would have cared.
Yeah. I remember specifically when that album came out, I bought it and I was listening to it. I was just like, what the fuck is this shit on the second half? What's this second album? And over probably the last 10 or 12 years, I've actually grown more attached to the softer acoustic stuff on that album as opposed to, the first album, the heavier album, it sounds a little bit more generic than it sounds like generic Foos, not just generic in general.
There's a couple tunes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't need that album. I'll take the acoustic over that every day.
Right.
Okay. So, again, we'll put a mark by Virginia Moon. It'll come back to the conversation later. I'm curious about this one. Everybody's tossing out color and the shape stuff, and I get a feeling that with all the ones that have got tossed out, this one did not make anybody else's list. Hey, Johnny Park.
Nope.
I think that may be on my honorable mention. It is.
Okay, so at least it'll come back.
How long is that honorable mention list?
I did 10 and 10.
It's 10 and 10, yeah.
I did 10 and 10 because I just once I got it down to that 20, I'm like, okay, I can't cut any more of these. I need these for the conversation. So, all right. So, Hey Johnny Park we'll come back to the conversation later. Bran, you want to toss one out here?
Off of not times like these. Off of There's Nothing Left to Lose, which honestly, I love the first two albums. Color and the Shape is probably one of the top 5 albums I've ever owned that I just love and I never get sick of. But There's Nothing Left to Lose has such a really cool atmosphere from it, and one of the best songs on there is Aurora.
That is good.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite songs on that album.
I ended up cutting it for something that we'll talk about later.
Me too.
See, it's funny. We're all in the same space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're just kind of all, like, the Venn diagrams are not overlapping as
we're
much.
making the cuts at different times.
Oh, that's fine. Just more conversation.
Right, exactly. Jenny?
All right. Which album is this from? Color and Shape, I think. Wind Up.
Oh, God, I love Wind Up. The first 5 songs off of Color and Shape, I will take over any first 5 songs, period.
I agree.
And, it's not that I don't like My Hero. It's just My Hero pulls back some. Whereas the first 5 just really kick in your face rock and roll stuff. Wind Up is so good, but I cut it. I think it made it down to 40. I think was where because again, that's where I started making I got entirely too much color in the shape, and I need to start trimming down. Which makes me wonder that I'm going to toss this one out since we're on color and shape. I think it's the last. No, I got one more. My Poor Brain.
No, sorry.
Nada.
Nope, nothing. My Poor Brain. I just like the. I believe, I don't know if it was actually in the album or if it was an interview that I read, but he described it as like half Jackson 5, half rock. Yeah.
I never heard that. No.
Yeah. But it's like the real life is so hard.
Yep.
And he calls that the Jackson 5 part. But they recorded those separate. Like the Jackson 5 part got recorded somewhere, and then the rock part got recorded elsewhere. Yeah. I just love like that switch because it's on a boom. This is a blackout. Damn it! Don't let it go to waste. Yeah. I can't sell you guys. It's okay. It's okay. I was hoping to sell you with my brilliant vocals.
It was a valiant effort. Thank you.
I tried.
Don't look at me. I ain't a singer.
Brand, what you got, man?
I'm gonna go back to the first album, Ecstatic.
See, I just got 1, 2. I know I cut it. I know I did because it's that same argument I had from Color and the Shape.
It's kind of like almost like a My Bloody Valentine type feel to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I really could have put either the whole first record or the whole second record on this, and I would have been okay, and we could have had the same conversation, and it would have been just as good.
And the show would be like 15 minutes long.
See, and that's the thing. Yeah, we would just agree, and then it'd be over. But I do not have Ecstatic.
Me neither.
Which bums me out a little bit. Jenny, what you got?
Okay, Summer's End.
Oh, I don't have that.
I don't expect that to be on anybody's list.
Off of Echo Silence, Patience, and Grace? It is.
Which, again, I definitely like more than In Your Honor. Because I feel like they took a step away from even what they were doing there.
Right.
And then, but just Wasting Light just blew it away, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I think that album has some of my favorite songs on it, but the entire album, I don't necessarily listen to it all together.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I listened to that and, like, 2 other songs of Echo Silence, Patience, and Grace, and then the rest is just, like, it's the same stuff, so.
Yeah. Well, let me toss this one out. It's actually on my honorable mentions. So I'm going to toss this one out there. Deepest Blues or Black?
That was a late cut.
Late cut.
Very late cut, yeah.
It's like
Well, like I said, you go through 160 songs.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Everybody's gonna have their cuts at different parts.
That one was tough because I was starting to get like very, very critical, and like I was kind of almost cutting anything that was like really just anthem-y,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, this is a good song and I like it, but is it too much like the? And I'm gonna go back to that one later. I'm gonna listen to it like 5 times just to make up for it.
All right, Bran. Give us another one.
White Limo off of Wasting Light.
I have it on my honorable mentions.
Which I know we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
It's my car chase song.
Yeah.
You can't help but break the speed limit while listening to that song.
Right.
I wanted to add that one, but there was one off another album that was kind of similar, and it just won over.
Which one is it?
Low.
Low.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got "Low" as my number 2 favorite Foo Fighters song. Period.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. It's simple, but it's just the take me as low as you go.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it speaks to me. And then, like you said before, that video, I love the freaking video.
The hotel cross-dressing video?
Yes, and they pulled it.
What is that saying about you, Justin?
Well, look where I am.
It's
and look
nothing
what
that
I
we
do.
don't already know.
Jack Black looks good in a bustier.
It's just crazy, and it goes really well with the song. I don't know, man. It's a nice little groover, and it took me for surprise, especially coming back, because as I'm listening, there's a couple that I had as late cuts because I was trying to force some one by one stuff in.
Me too.
I'm just like, there's got to be something.
But I actually really like that one. It's
I was
not
just going
like
with my
trying.
gut, so I was just like, not the most stellar album. I'll put it to the side.
I don't know. I just Have It All was a really late cut, and it probably should have been a really super early cut. That's all I'm saying. Okay, well, we talked about Wasting Light earlier, and the song that blew me away that actually made my top 10, Bridge Burning, the opening track.
Wait, that might be on my honorable mentions.
Great song.
Yes,
Yeah.
But-
it is.
I think I just over-listened to it a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's track 1.
Well, on the radio, things like that. Rope was on the radio,
I
too.
guess I didn't realize it was on the radio.
Yeah, Bridge Burning was.
Oh, well,
I
that sucks.
stopped listening
Well,
to the radio like
I had no
5
idea.
years ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think it was.
That's probably why it was such a refreshing treat to me.
Exactly.
Because
What's radio? I have the internet now.
I've got this. Well, I mean, Wasting Light was what? 2011.
2011.
Okay.
Was it that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
That album actually kind of struck a chord with me. It came out like right when I was going through my divorce, and there was a lot of songs on there that were like, this is my song.
Yeah, join the D Club.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to have one.
I'm in the Double D Club.
see, Rope. I remember Rope being on the radio. I remember that.
Okay, yeah. It might not have been. Okay.
Oh, I barely listened to the radio, so like I heard Rope at some point. Rope was probably the lead single, yeah?
Yeah.
I assume. So I probably just tuned out the radio and hadn't heard it, but still, Bridge Burning to me was super impressive. Did you say it didn't make yours, or was it honorable
It was
mention?
on my honorable mentions.
Okay, so it's in the conversation. I'm into that. What you got, Bran?
I feel like it's your turn, but
I just tossed out Bridge Burning.
that's right. I love this song to death, and it barely actually made the top 10 just because of the opening riff of it, but the remainder of the song is amazing. Generator off of There's Nothing Left to Lose.
Oh God. You have no idea. That was like 22.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Like,
That was a good one.
the rest of that song, besides the whole talk box thing, is stellar.
Yeah.
Stellar.
Dude.
I
it
think
is.
that's what really killed it for me too. Like
Yeah.
I tried listening to that one and I was like, nah.
If you can get past like the first 8 seconds of that and listen to the rest of the song, the lead line going into the chorus, the bridge, everything else is awesome.
I'm a
Yeah.
yeah. It's like
It has
I
like
said,
a really
so-
cool chord transition in it, at the beginning of the chorus. I love that song.
See, okay. Well, I'll toss out the one that beat it next for me. Jenny, what you got?
Okay, since we were talking about Wasting Light, I'll go ahead and throw out my favorite from that is I Should Have Known.
That song bummed me the fuck out.
That's why I liked it so much. Like I said, I was going through a divorce, and I felt like I was listening to like every argument that I had with my ex-husband in that song. Like, you know, he was kind of angry, and then he was like sad, and he was angry again, and it was just this range of emotions, and that song struck a chord with me. And
you have just added to the bum out.
You're welcome.
I do not have that. Okay, so I said I have 2 in my top 10 from There's Nothing Left to Lose. The one that beat it, Headwires. It's such a mellow track.
So that song's not even on the actual release of the album. That's a B-side, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just played.
It's on, like,
I pushed
the
play on
deluxe.
Spotify.
It's on the deluxe, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm a dick. So that's cool.
It still counts.
Yeah, totally. But I feel a lot more dicky doing it now.
No.
Laying it out there.
It's still a Foo Fighters song. It doesn't matter what album it's on.
Totally. It's just maybe it's still a great song. I'm guessing that
If I'm not,
Not on my list.
I might be completely wrong, and then I'm going to be the dickhead. Let's find out.
I don't know. I just pushed play and didn't really look at. I was looking at the album like basically as I'd push play on track 1 and let it play.
So
I did the same thing.
What album did you say it was?
There's Nothing Left to Lose.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking. Nope, that's on the album.
Okay.
I'm the dick.
I feel like less of a dick now, at least.
I'm the dick.
I just like the groove of that song, and it's. I feel like it hits that atmosphere that you were talking about so well, and that album really is a very much an atmosphere record.
Yeah, it's a relaxing album for the most part. Like maybe a third of it is kind of hard hitting and a little bit more driving, but you can tell like that's where they kind of hit their stride. And they went through member changes, losing Pat Smear, losing Will Goldsmith before Taylor came in, and then you could tell that was their. Let's be a 3-piece. Let's enjoy the process. Let's not force something. And it's not an album full of radio hits. It's an album full of you can listen to the whole thing, and they really are cohesive together.
I'm so glad that it stands the test of time too, because I really hadn't listened to that record in a long time.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, self-titled is every 2 months, and Color and the Shape is every 2 months.
If you're an actual real Foo Fighters fan, that's everyone's either number 2 or number 3 favorite album out of all of them. But the thing is, if you're just a casual Foo Fighters listener, like what's on the radio, no one even knows that album exists except for 2 songs.
Yeah,
but it's really, really, really good.
Yeah. So, well, I guess it puts it up to you again, because Headwires does not make the list. 2, 3, 4. It's up to you, Bran.
Let's see. Let's pull up my list. I'm going to go, so I've got 1, 2, 4 left, and not a single one of mine has made the let's talk about it after list.
Oh, man.
Which means I've either done a really bad job or a really good job, seeing as I was going for deep cuts. This one is not a deep cut. This one is obvious, but it's tied for number 1 for my favorite Foo Fighter song, and it's My Hero. As a musician, that song, if you ever listen to pretty much any band I've ever been in, specifically Pilot would be a perfect example. I ripped that band off so much, and this song pretty much in general, like it's one of my all-time favorite songs, probably top 3 or top 4.
My Hero, unfortunately for me, has the radio rub, the bad radio rub.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, but it was still good enough that it made my list.
Oh,
yeah, bringing it back.
Yeah.
Against Justin's wishes.
Oh, that's fine. It's not like it's a bad song. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. There literally is like a handful that I would, if they would have shown up on yours, I'd been like, oh, come on. Let's not talk about those.
Well, let's talk about this. Which ones would they be?
At times like these specifically. I don't care if I ever hear that song again.
I like it, but it's not one that like I would go and type in Spotify to actively listen to. If it came up, I'm not changing it. But
yeah, like if you're listening to the album, you're not going to skip the song.
Yeah,
I might. I just heard that. I've heard that one enough in my life. Oh, what's the other one? Next Year.
Yeah, that one. I love the bass line in that.
I really like that song.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to love that song, and then I played it out, and I feel like it hit the radio. If it didn't, I remember seeing them play it on television.
I think so, yeah.
And I was just like, oh.
There's a video for it.
Ugh. don't play this for me ever again. I'm done.
I definitely think that's the kind of song that if I hadn't heard it 50,000 times, I would love it because I like all the ballady stuff that they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was definitely not making my list.
It's partially my fault. Again, like I said, when I first got the record, before it even came out as a single, like I overplayed it before it even hit the radio. So it's
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, it's my fault
Wore it
partially. All right, Jenny, you're up.
Oh, I saved all my radio hits for the end. It looks like. I'm gonna go with "Learn to Fly."
Did not make my list.
Mine either.
Mostly for that's the same reason My Hero
Radio
didn't.
hit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to add it because of that, but that video the viral video that came out a couple years ago where all the people in Italy were playing it, and it was just I love that. I thought that brought that song back for me. Honestly.
I get it totally. I love that video. The thing of the
because there was just so much energy in that.
Yeah.
That whole field of all these people playing that song that they love to get this band that they love to come and play for them, and it was
it works.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? Like we haven't even talked about like,
and they've still never come to Hampton Roads.
right?
Drives
Well,
me nuts.
they were at the TED
I think they played Scope a couple years
one
ago.
by one.
Really?
Yeah, I saw them at the TED,
I was.
which is why Weenie Beanie is still my number one.
Oh, I was in college when that came out. That's why.
When they came by, when they came through, they're one of the few bands that's ever actually played my favorite song. Like they came back for the encore, and Weenie Beanie was like the song.
Yeah.
I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Playing that for me.
I will say this, and feel free to kick me out of the conversation for saying this.
Huh?
Probably my favorite actual band is the Foo Fighters. Never seen them live.
I mean, it happens.
Every time
happens.
they've ever come close, whether it was Richmond, it was sold out because it was, the whole online thing. And then every time they've like DC or Firefly, it's like, like life got in the way or something like that.
Smashing Pumpkins are my favorite band, and I didn't get to see them until 2007.
I have,
Virgin Fest.
however, seen Dave Grohl live.
Ooh.
That was Nirvana in 90.
Color Me Jealous.
My sister, it was at William and Mary.
Oh.
My sister
Color
took
me
me.
super
it was
jealous.
Them. I think it was the Offspring.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure, but I was like 8.
Wow.
Shouldn't have been there. But
No, absolutely not.
oh my God, Color Me Super Jealous.
I mean, I finally got to see Pearl Jam last week.
Yeah.
No, I have seen Pearl Jam. Where was that at? That was at Coliseum. That was like 10 years ago or something like that, though.
I still have Radiohead and Weezer on my I need to see bucket list.
I've seen Weezer. I haven't seen Radiohead.
I probably never will. Like I might. Weezer's coming to town, so I might go see them. But I mean, at this point, do I even want to?
The new album. Have you listened to the new album they just
I've heard
released?
so many people say it's good.
It's
Are you about to tell me that?
pretty bitchin'.
Okay, I'll give
Compared
it a
to
shot.
the last 4 or 5, they redeemed themselves quite a bit.
See, we did Weezer a couple weeks back, and like I stopped at Red, and I just I can't do anymore.
For
I'm
me,
done.
they have one album.
The
Sorry.
Blue Album.
Yeah.
Blue Album and Pinkerton. Blue Album better. Pinkerton just slightly behind it, but when they got, I don't know, a little bit full of themselves, I think. When he started being celibate, I think he lost his whole ability to write really good songs. Or just got nonsensical.
We've gotten way far away from the Foo
Sorry.
Fighters. No, it's fine. It's totally fine because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are still in. No, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've only got 3 more on my list. I don't know
got
what
2.
list you're pulling.
We've got 7 still or 7 still in the conversation. So I mean, if we somehow come out with 10, then here we go. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm guessing that this one did not make brands, but I'm gonna toss this off you too. Live in Skin.
Nope.
Off the.
No.
Nope.
There's nothing left to lose.
I like it. I thought about adding it, but it didn't even make the
It didn't even make your 20.
the possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something about, like I said, that and Headwires, just the way they hit me that day. I'm like, I don't want to get rid of these. These are in.
Yeah.
It seems like so much of what, strikes you about a certain song on a particular day, you have to be in the right mood for it, and then it's like, that's my song now.
Well, I mean, if we did this list today, like if I would have listened to all these songs, it would be different.
Right.
It would be completely different.
Well, that's what I did. It was today.
Yeah.
While driving. I don't condone it, but it happened.
All right. Well, you've got 2 more, you said, Bran?
I got 3 more.
3 more. Okay. So toss out another one. Let's see if we can land another one in there.
Off of The Color and the Shape, the very last song, New Way Home. Did you cut that one?
Yes. It's just I feel like this on my way home.
The tempo build up is so awesome when it finally comes in. You can't help but hear steering wheel if you're driving.
I pass boats in the kingdom. I'm not scared.
I'm gonna put that one on the way home.
It's a damn good song.
Damn you, Bran. Your list is awesome, but I don't have any of them.
This was tough. Like
It is.
I would like to challenge people that are listening to make their own list and see how hard it is. Don't
Anybody
judge
but
us.
Torres.
Yeah.
He be hating the foos.
Yeah, he likes Nickelback, so his opinion's not very valid.
That's what I heard.
He be liking Kiss too. So,
Yeah.
I might be doing a Kiss show.
As Bobby Fresh would once say, kissing dudes.
Yes. I might do a Kiss show, but if I do, Alfredo's going to be in that chair. Mike Powers is going to be in that chair. That's the only way Kiss happens.
I gotta listen to that one.
I don't like Kiss.
Mikey would do it.
I
Mike
mean,
would definitely do it.
I think.
As long as the Islanders aren't playing.
I've got them lined up hopefully for a couple other shows on the station, and just trying to get them to come to Hampton might be the thing. Jenny, it's your turn.
All right. This is actually my favorite Foo Fighters song.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't want to disappoint
So
you.
you saved it for second to last.
I saved it for. I didn't mean to. It happened that way, and it's gonna hurt. But Statues on Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace.
See, I don't have much from there.
I don't really have anything from that album, actually.
Yeah, I love that song. It's I'm not even gonna go into it because you're gonna call me a downer again. But it's totally a downer.
But isn't it cool that a lot of the arguments Brandon and I are making are like energy, and a lot of the arguments you're making are emotional.
Well, it's almost more emotional. Mine's more like I have like 2 or 3 songs on here that are energy, and then the rest are kind of more like mellow, kind of feel good songs, and yours are a lot more energy.
Yeah,
so I think that's why our lists are not very.
Yeah, mine is like 100% emotional.
Yeah.
But that's cool to be able to say that about a band that, I mean, granted they've been around, since '95. So yeah, they've got a deep discography that's going to be able to cover all these bases. But all 3 of us are approaching it completely differently.
Right.
I love that. With that being said, let me take it back to the energy. You brought up Good Grief earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And the song that just eked it out for me, Watershed.
Watershed's a damn good song.
God,
If this was a top 15 list, absolutely would have been on there.
So it's your honorable
all right,
mention.
so
It's an honorable mention.
Yeah, I'm taking that as an honorable mention. I'm putting a
Yeah.
mark by that. That's in the conversation because I don't think we have 10. So
We have 7.
we need 10. All right, Brad, toss one out. You only got 2 left.
Not off the Saint Cecilia album, but off of the Sonic Highways album, which actually everyone kind of gives shit on that just because they thought it was kind of gimmicky for the whole show.
Right.
There's like 2 or 3 songs in there I'm really not the biggest of fans of, but for the most part, it's a really well-crafted album.
Yeah.
The Feast and the Famine, the one written about DC. Like growing up listening to DC hardcore, loving Fugazi, loving Bad Brains, especially, the PMA reference in it. I loved that fucking song. That's a high energy song. That's a high energy song, though.
Trying to remember what I do have a song from that record, I think, but now I'm not seeing it. So maybe it got cut. What you got, Jenny?
My last song is Big Me.
Okay, I'm putting a mark by it because it's on my honorable mention.
And it's a lot of it is because of the video.
Yeah.
Because
The
they
Mentos
did the
video?
Mentos
Yeah.
commercial. And I'm just a sucker for that. And it's poppy and it's just fun, but whatever.
I had it down to the 3 singles from that record, and I'm just like, okay, so
What is that? This is a Call.
this is a call. Jeez, like any other time, I can knock them out of the park. It's track 2. It's track 2. This is a call. This is. Oh Jesus! Now I feel really stupid.
I'll stick around.
Yes, I'll stick around.
The video for that, like the floating.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
orby thing in the background. But I had it down to the 3 singles, and I'm like, well, Big Me is the one that sounds different. So I'm going to go with that one. because I mean that's just the choice I had to make that
Yeah.
day.
That was the part of a lot of my decisions on these was like, like for instance, Virginia Moon, that one sounds so different from everything else. I was like, I have to pick that one.
Yeah. Okay, so the last one on my 10 is Alone in Easy Target.
I was just about to say that.
Oh yeah?
It's not on my actual list. It's like number 11 on the.
Okay, well I'm taking that too.
Yeah.
That counts.
I
That
love
counts.
that song.
That counts. But if you look at tabs for that first record and specifically this song,
Oh yeah.
it looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
It looks like he's just some madman just playing random crap.
Uh-huh.
But you put it together and you actually play it, or you.
It's
even
orchestrated
better.
really
Oh
well.
my
Yeah.
God, it's so good, especially that song. It's if I had to place it, like it'd be 3, and that's where I have it. It would be my 3rd favorite song if I had to place it. But I think that's one of those ones that would always be in my top 10. Like it might shift down, it might stay right there at 3, but it's always going to be in top 10. I just love I'm Alone and I'm an Easy Target. I felt like that always. I feel like that right now. I'm alone and I'm the dude standing in the corner in the room. So I don't know, man. It's just a great tune. So that was that your last one, or
No,
you said
I've
that
got
was 11?
I've got one more. That
right.
would be number 11 on my list, and I guarantee you it's on neither of your list. It's Outside. Off of,
Aha.
do
That's
you really?
my honorable mention.
Oh my
Yes.
God!
Yes.
Holy shit! We all have one.
Oh my God!
That's definitely my favorite off of that album.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of hit and miss for me. Like it just, like I said, I'm 100% emotional with these songs. Like that one felt great to me.
It has such a cool like minor tinge to it. It really it's a bitchin' song.
Yeah.
So much so that it actually landed on all 3 of us. That's awesome.
Okay.
The only one.
That's number 10 too,
Yeah,
isn't
I think
it?
that puts us at 10. Jenny, do you want to blast through some honorable mentions and just see if we match up on any? 'Cause we're coming up on the time anyway, so.
I can't remember which ones we've. I did have Everlong on the list on the honorable mentions. George.
Oh God! Again, that was such a late cut.
That one was kind of bouncing in and off my honorable mentions. Oh, and Floaty. That was another one you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That I just love that one. I don't know why.
It's just so well put together, like the acoustic coming in, and then the way it bounces right into the chorus. That's not as good as what's floating here. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but fuck.
I read that it's probably about like Zeppelins or something, and
Oh.
I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's true, but I like it.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to toss out a couple of these honorable mentions. It doesn't matter if well, I guess none of these automatically land because Jenny's already gone through hers. But on my honorable mentions, I had Save Your Breath off St. Cecilia. Again, that's just one I heard, and it hit me the right way that day. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm into that. I had Enough Space from Color and the Shape.
Yep.
God, so good. Come Alive, Free Me, and Erase Replace. All on my honorable mentions.
All great songs.
But we got 10. So,
Oh, we actually got 10?
At the very last minute.
right? Well, I mean, most of them just hit 2 of us.
One that I guaranteed would not be on anybody's list was
Right?
the only one all 3 of us guessed.
That's insane. All right, so let's go through this real quick. We've got Low, Alone in Easy Target, Everlong, Bridge Burning, Watershed, Hey Johnny Park, My Hero, Big Me, White Limo, and Virginia Moon. Oh, and Outside.
The funny part is half of those are radio tracks.
Let's see. Big Me, Everlong. Is White Limo? Oh, My Hero.
My Hero.
Low. Jesus. Yeah. We spent all this time railing against radio. And then it's half radio.
But
That's
it's
insane.
the earlier ones. It's the ones that you said that are the
They're
ones
timeless.
that hold up.
They're completely timeless. And that's what's amazing about it. I can't believe we've blown through an hour already.
I can't believe it.
It goes by so fast. Well, that's what okay, look. And this is a great reason for you to go to patreon.com/radiofreeradio. If you dig Deprogrammed, awesome. I love that. I love that you love this show. Having fans in to come talk about very passionately about their bands is amazing. Like I said, we did Weird Al last week, and it's
I kind of wish I was here for the Smashing Pumpkins one now.
Dude, that one was tough.
Did someone pick, as far as the top 10, was Stand Inside Your Love on there?
Let's see. It didn't make our 10.
Really?
Nope. but that's our 10. That's the 10 that made it.
I love
The
Stand
Wall of
Inside Your Love.
Fame.
That song is awesome.
I feel like because it ended up just being me and Dan Forlines from Turncoat Syndicate,
Okay.
if you're familiar. And he may have bounced Stand Inside Your Love on there, but it ended up falling. But one of my favorites, scoff if you will, one of my favorites that we've done was Insane Clown Posse. It doesn't matter if you don't like the music. The favorite thing for me was being able to come on air and say, fuck you. I dig it, and that's what this is about. And having 3 people be able to talk about something that they dig, it's fun week after week after week. It's a blast.
I can't diss on you for that because I got crap for going on here to talk about Foo Fighters.
Right?
I had people telling me, "Oh, they suck."
And
What?
here's the thing, though. I'm starting to see the Foo Fighters suck thing going around. I'm like, okay, look, if you don't like them, that's fine.
It's literally not liking them for the sake of not liking them, not because they really don't like them. It's just everyone loves the Foo Fighters, so it's my turn to shit on them.
Yeah,
type thing.
My theory is that they got tired of saying that Nickelback sucks, so let's find another band. Oh, Foo Fighters.
Yeah. By the way, if I can somehow find 2 Nickelback fans, I might do a Nickelback episode. Now,
I might not listen. I'm just kidding.
I would listen just to hear what they have to say.
Here's
Everyone's gonna have a Canadian accent.
hey, that one song, buddy. Look at this photograph, buddy. What I'm thinking about doing is torturing myself with those bands that I don't like, and like actually listening to their discography and trying to find a 10 myself to bounce off of. It'll suck for me, but it might make for good conversation.
At least you can say you gave them an honest try.
And see, that's the angle I'm trying to take. Is giving these bands an honest try and then saying, no, I still don't like them, but you can tell me why you do. Or try to convince me. That's going to be my other angle to take at it.
You should do a special one-off show of the top 10 bands that you cannot stand, and just have 3 different people in here be like, all right, can't stand this band, this is why.
That'd be fun.
And see
like
if
that.
you kind of like make the whole joint list again.
Well, again, I think that's the cool part about this show is it doesn't have to just be bands. Like, I'm going to do a lot of bands, but we can do it with TV shows. We can do it with just bands, not like a singular band. That episode we can do. I was thinking about doing soundtracks, like favorite songs from soundtracks.
Ooh.
Which would be really difficult because there's shit tons of soundtracks.
Oh yeah, you've got a million freaking songs to go
Yeah.
through.
So I mean, I don't know.
You definitely won't have a joint top 10, but
no, but it'll still be fun, and who knows? Maybe a couple do land up on somebody's. But with that being said, man, we got to wrap this up. I can't believe you drove all the way from North Carolina. Man.
I got to be up at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh
too,
man,
so.
you need to get out of here,
Yeah.
like with quickness.
You're good.
Jenny, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me on.
I'm seriously thinking about doing Blur. Blur would be one of those ones.
I would listen to that.
I already have my list. I wrote it in 15 minutes today.
Because Blur's one of those bands that people have always said to me, hey, you should check out Blur. You should check it. And I've always just not necessarily wrote them off, just kind of passed them over.
If you do a Ryan Adams one, I'm here.
Oh, maybe.
Ryan Adams is my number 1 favorite.
Really?
Singer. Absolutely.
Wow.
Interesting.
Everything he's ever done.
Wow. Okay.
Huge Ryan Adams fan.
I can't knock you because I'm not familiar with his work.
Oh,
so.
man, dude. Awesome.
All right. I'll take your word for it. And, oh, man, it's 59. Thankfully, there's no show following me today. And I own the station. So that's cool.
The perks.
I've got that going for me. It's Deprogrammed. Thank you so much for listening. Patreon.com/Radio Free Radio. We appreciate it. Foo Fighters, ladies and gentlemen. Love them. I fucked my tagline. Learn them and love them.